Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Tuesday, the 21st of June, comes to you from London, the longest day in the year, and a fairly quiet day on markets yesterday because the US was closed for a public holiday. But just looking at some of the alerts we've got coming in this morning, we've had some quite good alerts coming in on carbon emissions, and as it happens, we went out as bullish to clients this morning on carbon. We're seeing here on German power, we've got some short-term alerts, a medium-term upside target on the 60-minute chart, and on the daily chart we've got even bigger targets. So really quite interesting there that we're seeing that there on the daily chart, the bigger upside target there. And of course you can always look at that chart and see the target for yourself. So we've got 266 as the next target there, and of course we've had that bigger target there for German power for some time. Looking at some of the other ones, we've got TTF. That's put out quite an interesting target this morning. Again, you can open the chart, you can see all the news on the chart, and if you want to see that on a cloud chart, we can see here all the news tags just coming in. So these news tags are generated either from your Bloomberg, your Reuters, or your Refinitiv or your Trayport system. So you just automatically get all these targets and you can see them historically as they've performed. So these news alerts on your charts are a really powerful feature in Updata Enterprise. We're seeing that gold, we've got the squeeze here on the Bollinger Bands, and what I love about these alerts is that it may help you spot something that you might not have seen. So this looks like we've come back up through the Bollinger Band. This looks like we might see some big moves in precious metals now that we've got that squeeze, and the same thing occurring there. And we're even seeing some of these other longer term alerts. So NASDAQ, for example, we're below the cloud on that daily chart now. This is the weekly chart, so long term we're turning bearish. But let's look at the markets in general. We start by looking at the dollar index. Remembering this is my weekly, my daily, and my 60-minute chart. I'm running on Refinitiv Icon, but could easily be running on Bloomberg, on Trayport, whatever data that you're using. We're compatible with dozens of different data services in Updata, and you can literally just go and choose your data services on the fly. So you can just literally click the ones you've got, and they'll all come in. And there's a whole series of free services that you can run on there as well. So the dollar index is looking bullish on that long and medium-term chart. Short-term, we're just seeing a little bit of a collapse there. The euro still looking medium and long-term bearish on the weekly and the daily chart. We are still in bearish mode. We're recovering a little bit on the short-term chart, but the fact remains that we're seeing that bearishness. The Japanese yen making new highs for dollar there, so we're seeing Japan really struggling there. Dollar strength really showing through, and sterling sitting at 123, so we are seeing that as well. And if we look at the euro, we're seeing here also sterling is just now weaker against the euro there as well. Bitcoin sitting at $21,000, really has struggled this last few weeks and really just falling away bearish on that medium and long-term chart. 15,000 is the floor on the 1% chart, 17,000 and 11,000 on the shorter term chart. Of course, the S&P 500 was closed yesterday for the market, as was the NASDAQ, but we're falling through that cloud on the weekly, very much in bearish territory with these downside targets. We've been bearish, of course, on the markets for quite a few months now, and that's now just showing through. We are seeing the futures up a bit this morning, in fact quite a bit up. We're seeing the NASDAQ and the E-mini futures up 2%, so it does look like we'll see a bit of a recovery there today. The VIX volatility though is still sitting above that 30 level. The fear index is something there that we need to be aware of. Looking at the DAX in Germany, we're at 1.2% there, and the CAC down is up 1.5%, and Japan was up 2% despite that fall in the currency, probably driving Japanese company profits higher with that weaker yen. We're seeing China bucking the trend. It was down at just under 0.25% and coming back to hit the cloud from below, so we are still wary of the Chinese market. And again on the daily cloud we're below as well. The Sensex in India was up 2.3%. So we are seeing relief rallies really across the board. Oz was up 1.4%, having plunged really, and really one of the strongest looking markets has really fallen away recently to put it into bearish territory as well. We'll look at the energy mix in a minute, but looking at some of the soft commodities, we've got corn down 1.3%, wheat down 1.6%. Doesn't change the nature of these long-term charts, but shorter term we are seeing some respite there, and corn falling away as well. That April high is really the key there for corn. but we are still long-term bullish on softs, of course. We talked about gold. We're sitting at this 1835 level, this price squeezing down. We talked about that in the Bollinger Bands, squeezing in, and so really what we're waiting for is a break. Below 1800 we'd be bearish, above 1875 we'd be bullish. It's really that simple for gold, and watch the other precious metals follow suit, of course. Looking at the US 10-year yield, sitting at 3.27%, so still in long-term bullish trends. 5.5% is the target for 10-year yields if we break to new highs. We've already got one to 4.1%, which is of course a new high. So it does just show that US 10-year bond yields are going to go much, much higher. Looking at the energy mix now, we start with Brent crude. This is my daily and my 60-minute chart, so my medium term and my short term view of the market with a daily, 60-minute and 1 minute. So medium term, short term, very short term. The 1 minute charts are going to tell you what's happening today, and that's where you get the short term alerts kicking in. So Brent crude, we've got this upside target to 117. We said to clients today 112 is the floor that we have to watch. On WTI, the floor is 109. And again, we have to watch that upside target there. The trends are still very bullish there. US nat gas down 3%, really just struggling, just right on cloud support at the moment on the daily cloud. Of course, this Freeport closure has really rocked the market for US nat gas, and we are just seeing these downside targets there, so that's quite key as well. Coal sitting at 243, just waiting for the break there as well. Now, we talked about emissions, carbon emissions above 85 today. We went out as clients as bullish. We're up 1.4% this morning, and we are above the cloud both on the daily and on the 60-minute, and with upside targets, and quite a nice upside target here on the 60-minute chart. So emissions look set to go higher. Looking at gas prices, we're up 6% on TTF, looking like that triangle breakout is going to happen. And we talked about that again in our report out to clients this morning. Breaking out of that triangle pattern, really quite key. These patterns tend to be quite explosive, and this is looking like quite a good continuation pattern. Watch the 1 minute targets, especially on your OTC data. And looking at MBP, we're seeing here again we're up 7.5% this morning, just really testing the cloud. We've got this upside target to 245. 200 is the key level for MBP. That's the level we've got to watch on front month MBP. German power is up 3% this morning at 238, back above that 235 critical level, so that's looking pretty strong as well. And the one market we've been really bullish on of late is Nordic power, and that has just been rocketing away, and we've been putting out bullish calls to clients the last few days on Nordic power, and we're just running and running and running. So looking very, very strong there indeed. So keep an eye on those prices, but looking pretty strong for energy markets today. Overall sentiment looking pretty good. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, have a great day. Happy charting. See you then.